Hi again, everyone. Continuation of the Gen 3 build. We're now phase 6, I'm pretty sure. So with no further ado, let's move on. Last time what did we do last time? We built the rear blocks, the peels. We've put that in. We've put the diffs in the gearboxes. Now we move on to the rear hubs. Are they revolutionary? They must be close to, if you like. So let's have a look and see what we got. Lots of adjustments, and for the person that likes tinkering with their car, so long as they don't end up being lost with it, the world is your oyster here. So let's have a little look and see what we got. So you can see again, I've laid it all out. We've got drive shafts here. We've got the bearings, the little pins. We've got the hexes, lots of little washers, as you can see. All sorts of stuff going on here. So lots of adjustments here. So let's see what we've got. So we take a rear hub. Now here we can use any of these inserts, and these inserts, by the way, there's lots of adjustments. They start from 0 and they go up to 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5 and 3. So lots of adjustments, and that basically means that we can have adjustments going up and down the hub, right? So if I just go to the cam here, just to show you what I'm chirping on about. So when the peel goes in here, is inserted into this area here. Let me just see if I can get that. That's it. So when it's inserted into the area here, you can see there's little locators all around the actual around the hole, so you can't get it wrong as such. But what it basically means, if I can get that this way around, just so you can see, what it basically means is that we can have the hole running down this side of the hub. Oh God, that wasn't very straight, was it? Down this side of the hub, or the other side of the hub. So we can actually change the track in and out, and also we can move the hub upwards in different positions and downwards in different positions with small increments if we want, so we make the adjustment how we want. Now also, when you look at this hub, you can also see that there are two little, I call them ears, they look like Mickey Mouse ears to me, Bugs Bunny ears, or whatever you want to call them. So with here we can we have a little alloy part. So that alloy part will, for example, or not for example, it will fit into there like so, as you can see. But we can also adjust it in and out as much as we want with washers, which you will see on the tail. So bearing in mind that can come like so. I don't know if try and get that into there you go. So you can sit there, and it can come in and out as we see fit. Yeah. Now also, what a lot of people may not realize on face value of this is that when they see this, they think that that's how it's supposed to go and that's the end of it, but it's not. Let me tell you, because you can actually reverse this round as well. So if I turn that round that way, you can actually have more adjustments. So it really is the setups that you can do on this rear hub. Is it revolutionary? I have to say, I've seen some cars with a similar idea. I'm not sure they've got as much adjustment, and frankly, if I'm brutally honest, I don't really care, because I know we have, so that's good enough for me. So this is what I'm going to do with this, right, is I'm going to put I've just got to think of the setup I'm putting onto the car, because again, bearing in mind this is different to the might be different to the manual, because the manual gives you one particular setup. So I think I have 2 washers on mine, so that's what I'm going to do. I think the setup in the manual, if I'm not mistaken, gives you 2.5, but I'm going 2. Just want to point out something while I'm at this, because it's quite important. Left and right on these hubs, just to show you, there is a little area here that is recessed down. Can you see that needs to be pointing inwards of the car, not outwards of the car? So that needs to be pointing inwards of the car, and this is giving the clearance. That little recessed area there is given the clearance for the that to slide in and out. Okay, so just bear that in mind. That's got to point inwards of the car. So here we go. I of course, again, repeating myself, I know what I'm doing. So this is how I build mine. It's incredible how many not errors, I don't know what the word is, sort of when you're multitasking, trying to explain something, you're thinking, have I explained it right? How you just naturally could do errors. It's just bordering on bizarre, really. When I'm just doing it on my own and not chattering away, I don't have that issue. So what I'm doing here is I'm building it. As you can see, I've already put the alloy part that takes the turnbuckle. So I'm just going to spin that out the way like so. The reason for it is because I need to get that screw in there, and I need to get another 2 washers on here. So there's one, there's 2 washers. I then bring it back. If you also notice, I've left it slightly loose on the other side. Well, not slightly, a lot loose, just because then I can just draw it up evenly how I want it to be. And I pinch quite hard because, again, at this stage, I've not used any Loctite at all. Now you will also notice that I've built this I think slightly different to the manual, because this is how I run mine, and if I can just show you, you will see that this is pointing towards the inside of the car instead of actually coming in here. So it's a shorter link, if you like. So if that was flipped round, then it'd be a much longer link, but this is a shorter link. Okay, so that's basically one side ready. Well, not quite. I mean, obviously, it doesn't take too much of a mathematician to know that you will pop the bearing on the inside and the other one on the outside. So that's now sort of ready to take the drive shaft. Now we move on to the next one. So I take one of these like so, another one like so. Just got to quickly think, make sure I get it right, because you can put it all on all sorts of different ways. And like I said, there are many adjustments, and I'm just going to double check that they are both the same. Yes, they would be if they were opposite. Flip that out of the way. And here we go. One washer, 2 washers. Flip that back. You see many videos online now. A lot of people doing videos, how to, why to. I do it my way, I do it that way. try and pick your favorite, who you maybe trust. But I tell you what though, watch the others as well, because they're always educational. I'm not necessarily saying that everybody does it right. I'm not necessarily saying everybody does it wrong, but different people do different ways, and the more you input in the sense of information, the better it's going to be for you. So we're not going to get to the drive shafts just yet. We're going to just quickly look at these peels. Now, it's a little bit difficult while they're on the spool, to be fair, but I normally would, if I can just sort of move that sort of slightly like so, just so I can show you what I normally do, is I normally run a driver down and I see where the hinge pin's going to be, and I then sort of go this way, and I look at the height and everything else, and I get an impression of roughly where the hinge pin is going to be when it's in the hub. Now, I'm not too sure what the default is, and I haven't looked it up what the default is. I'm pretty sure that the default is, let me just quickly have a quick look. I think the default on the older car is 2, and I think that worked extremely well, to say the least. That was number 2. So that's what I'm going to go with, because it's a proven scenario. I know it works on multiple tracks, so I pick number 2 out of that spool there, and then where's number 2 on this one? Oh, there it is there. So I pick up number 2 out of that one too. Now, I'm very fussy, remember, so I've got to just make sure that there's no flashing. Now, you've got to be very, very careful with these, because they have got little notches on these. And let me just go to this cam just to show you. The last thing you want to do is take these little notches off. Let me just show you. See the little notches there, look. So you've got one there, look, and then one on the top there, look, and they locate into the hub. So the last thing you want to do is get your get your silly thing like I've got and just clean them off. But where they come off the spool is where I hate that little bit of flashing. So I'm going to have this hub running quite low into the wishbone with this number 2. So I've just got to just spin it round into the correct position. Let me just see, that is where it's going to go. And before I press it in, I'll just show you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So let me just spin that round into the correct position. It'd be this way. Let me just see. So I'm just making sure that they're both identical, and before I push them in, which they are. So let me just see how much I can show you on this camera here. So that's where I'm going to run it. So as you can see, it's not quite to the top. Actually, well, you can see that that's going to locate into the little grooves. I've showed you the little grooves. So if I just push that home, you can see it's beautifully located. Can't get it wrong. You can see the little grey parts gone into the little black parts. Now you can also see, bearing in mind, here is the outside. Okay, so this is the outside. I'm running a, if you like, the track that pushes this slightly in. That's the way that I would that I would like that. And then if I grab the other one, look, that's going to be exactly the same. Push that home, and then if I make these into a pair, you can then see that they're both identical. Yeah. Now bear in mind, you've got adjustment up and down and in and out, and you can do lots of those and lots of playing around with all of these, right? And all these come with the car. You can see on there, look, 1.505, and if you take the same one and spin it round, you can see there's the rest of them, obviously minus the two that we're running on the actual car now. So lots and lots of adjustment on these rear hubs. It's another video to tell you exactly what each thing does, but yeah, I found this works really well for me, and that's what we're going to go with. So we move on to the drive shafts. Now, drive shafts, conventionally, they're very easy to put together. You just get this, get that, put it together there, put the pin through. It's quite a simple scenario. But with our drive shafts, we have gone another stage further. So I want to show you what happens here. Because it's a little bit fiddly, I'm going to have to stay on the main cam. I can't really go onto the zoom cam, unfortunately, on this one. But I'm pretty sure when I get one put together, you will understand. Now, these have been washed off, right? So all the areas here that I'm putting together have been washed off, and that's why if you look, it just falls out of it. It's all nice and free, no, nothing on it. So I just want to show you the first position that this drive shaft has, because we have different positions on our drive shafts. So I just want to quickly go to this cam now that I've got it together, and I know it's not going to drop in out, and the pin is not going to drop out. I just want to sort of try and zoom in to show you that that's where the pin is in. But we also, if you look at where that pin is, you can see there's another position further in and another position even further in. So we can adjust this dog bone in and out of our cup. Very, very important, actually, because the further in you're in, you're going to get a much kind of stiffer, kind of what I call an indoor type setup. And then as you move right to the outside, the more conventional kind of thing is more like an outside kind of low grip kind of setup. That's the way that I feel it on the track. Now, is that right? Is that wrong? That's the way I feel it on the track. I do feel a slight difference in the stiffness when the car leans into the corner. I do actually feel the difference. Some people say that's a load of baloney, but I think I do anyway. But this car is not going to go there. It's going to go in the middle. So we're gonna go kit again. Pretty sure kit tells you in the middle, and the reason we're going to go in the middle is because this car, I do know, is going to be used on different types of track, and I'm not sure that the owner of this car is ready to be really fiddling around to this degree, when he's got his car. So that's all built now, but it's not fully built because I can't run the drive shafts like that. They've got to be greased, and if you don't know already, of course, I produce a multitude of different greases for your needs. This one is the gear grease, but it's also, you can see, CVDs. It's an amazing grease. It's a red lithium. That's what it's called. And that's the color of it, of course. And basically, I am going to fill that in there, that cup, with this grease, and that is going to protect, fill the gap where the pin is and everything. Like, I want it to go all the way in and protect it. Let me just put that down for a sec. I'm going to use my finger to make sure that it all gets lubricated, and as it tries to escape, I will push it back in again. Now, this grease is also what they call anti-flick. It's because it's an American grease, it actually is used in karting, and I don't mean karting as in little karting. I'm talking about the big Formula One style karting, and it's used for that. So that's where I discovered it. Of course, but don't think that I actually make grease. I don't make the grease. I discovered it, used it. Other people might say that they make grease, but I don't make grease. I basically buy it in very big bulk, and of course I make it much easier for you guys to use at trackside by decanting it and putting it in these lovely little pots for you. So don't ever think that I make the grease. I'm not that good. So if I just show you how I end up with that kind of scenario. Look, you can see it's all not, well, I'm not sure if I'm zoomed in, but you can see it's all nicely greased up in there. That will protect that joint. You can see the pin don't move now, it don't drop out. It'll protect that joint beautifully as we move forward with racing and everything else. So there's that one ready. I'm quickly going to do the other one as well. I probably should have just done one and saved time on the video, so excuse me. I normally do some of it, if you like, just to save a little bit of viewing time, because if you do the left, I'm sure that it's self-explanatory to do the right as well. So again, I'm now doing it a little bit quicker, of course, because I don't have to explain it so much. You've already seen it the once. So I just basically fill that cup up as much as I possibly can, and once I'm satisfied that you can actually feel it, you know, if you do one that's lubricated and one that's not lubricated, you can actually feel the difference. Now listen, there are different greases out there. I'm not telling you that this is the be and end all of what grease you should use. You know, there's some superstar drivers out there that have produced greases, or I should say produced greases, but put their names to it and everything else. So well, they obviously believe in what they believe, and myself likewise. But I'm just taking away any sort of major excess if I've done too much. I wipe the shaft so the shaft is clean, and there you go. That's number 2 ready for us. Now if we then move on to what happens next, we're going to put that through the hub, and a beautiful idea by Serpent, and I think others have taken this on board as well. The bearing inner race supports the pin not dropping out, so you don't have to do anything to lock your pin off or anything like that. Put the pin through the shaft conventional kind of way. This one I did earlier. You get your and I'll tell you what I mean what I did earlier. You get your hex, and basically you just pinch it into place, and she is as good as silk. I mean, she really is absolutely perfecto. And look, there is no play. Well, you can just feel a fraction, but that's enough to keep it beautifully and free. And as you can see, so that is our hub and our drive shaft already. Car comes with 66 length dog bones, and there are others available for different setups if you want, so there are optional. And this is what I did earlier on. I basically got the very fine screw and I put it in the hex. I did one earlier. This is how you do another one, so that just sort of just sits there like so. Quickly put the other drive shaft together. While it's all greased, your pin is not going to drop out, and you're not going to be searching around the floor looking for it, or ringing me up and telling me it wasn't in the kit, which doesn't happen. So there you go, that goes together as well. That's another one So what I do is, before I pinch it, I just draw it up, I hold it in place before I pinch. And listen, you do not have to crank this up tight, you just pinch, and that's all you need to do. And again, there's another one, beautifully ready to hubs, kitted out with their drive shafts. I'm going to have a little tidy up here, and then we'll move on to the other stage in a second. So lost count a little bit. I think this is stage 6. We move on to stage 7, which will be quite a simple one, really. You know, these are sort of becoming more like 20-minute videos rather than my original one was over 2 hours. But we're going to be looking at the wishbones, putting everything together on the back end, and theoretically and hopefully we're all nice and free and everything else on the back end, just like we were on the front end, and more or less to the conclusion, I suppose. There are other things that we're going to look at, but this is end of 6, I think, something like that. We'll move on to 7 in a little while, so look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care for now.